terrifying night invades my dreams. Hey Anons, for a few months now I've been experiencing a weird consistent phenomenon, and I do not know where else to bring this to. If anyone else has any similar experiences, do share it with me. Before we continue, I think it would help that I clarify that this is not my first paranormal encounter, but one to add to the pile. Since I was a child, I've experienced a lot of paranormal in nature things, some that shook me to the core, and others that changed me as a human. Let me clarify that I have not been on X for more than 2-ish years, and aside from that, I did not join much on here either. Around 6 to 7 months ago, I attempted something called remote view or some shit like that. Basically, through meditation, I was told I could focus my mind to view another place, and even higher dimensions, not with my eyes, but with my consciousness/soul. At least, that's what I read/remember. I was bored and I did not know what to do, so I thought of giving it a try. After all, what harm could it do? I always was into this kind of stuff. That night I sat on my bed and calmed myself as much as I could, focusing. I was experiencing a weird feeling in my head, as if my brain was exploding. I felt as if I could visualize something like a sphere, or anything for that matter, a room full of people, space, the earth, but I could speed up time, going faster and faster and faster, and somehow, I would sync with the feeling of the blood flowing through my brain at the same speed as time, and suddenly it would come to a stop. It felt as if my brain could not process it, but still, I felt weird, as if physically, my body could not handle it, but my soul/consciousness wanted to continue. It felt like I hit a wall, followed by a light feeling of dizziness. That night, I fell asleep and saw a vivid dream. I was in a place, a colossal expansion of grassy flatland at the top of the Earth's atmosphere. You could see that deep blue color. It was a weird place. Rocks that had multiple eyes that floated on the rock's surface, as if it was made out of water, yet touching it, I felt hard solid rock. I literally felt as if this was something normal. As if by being there, I understood the bizarre rules of that world. I walked, and I remember looking at the moon and the sun, and I felt as if something was off when I saw the moon. Something inside of me was uncomfortable. Suddenly, I found myself in a huge castle that seemed to defy physics. It had weird long towers with triangles on top. The top part of the triangles were made out of glass, and I remember that detail very well. Walking into the huge castle, I found myself in a long dining area, filled with golden cups with wine. Black cubes splattered all over the place, with white outlines and golden torches alongside the dark walls, but the feeling of uneasiness came back to me. Turning my back, I saw what resembled a knight smash open a deep green-colored wooden door with an axe full of eyes looking at me. It felt as if the weapon was actually alive as it squeaked and made short yet high-pitched squeaky noises like a dog toy. The knight himself, I don't know if I can call him that, but that is what he resembles. On his head, a long sharp cone with a long cloth reaching down on his shoulders, and the rest of his body was also a dark cloak. He looked literally like a KKK member, just all in dark robes. I felt as if time froze, and I heard him speaking to space itself. Not just speaking, it felt like a song of frequencies. This one, I don't know how I know it. It's as if I figured it out in the dream. Time resumed, and a lightning bolt ran across the room, barely missing me. At this point, I literally shitted myself, because the dream felt so vivid that I literally felt the warmth of the lightning passing by. All of the details I could make out of him was some white eyes shining through the black cloth/veil that sat on top of his cone. For a few seconds, I forgot what happened and found myself awake on my bed in the morning. Since then, I've been constantly seeing him invading my dreams, each time with a different type of weapon, from that double-headed full-of-eyes axe to chains made out of condensed light on the verge of collapsing in on itself into many black holes. Literally, I could feel fucking gravity distorted around those things, like how a bug sits on water and it gets this weird lens thing effect. Of course, there have been dreams where simply he did not invade or couldn't, but most of the time when he invades them, I feel the urge to battle him, her or whatever it is. I always find myself exploring weird places like huge cathedrals or castles straight out of fantasy, only for him to come in. I really don't know what he is, but it feels as if that remote view thing brought him into my mind. Did I open the gate to him? I really don't know. But recently, I really feel like facing him in my dream. But it feels as if he conceals his true form, but he is a very experienced warrior. A knight that seemingly comes to chase me down with weird weapons and magic, destroying everything in his path just to get to me. Do you Anons have any idea what it could be? Ask me questions and I am willing to answer. I've seen a lot of bizarre shit happen in the dreams, and me getting those moments of grand understandings, but I am too tired to type it all down. And if anyone wonders if I encounter any other things in those dreams, yes, I do. Multiple knights and entities actively live in those places. When he comes, he will sometimes fight with them, or they will directly attack him. This gives me time to always run or find a way to escape while he is busy, but they have never bested him. There were even times where more knights, just like him, joined him to hunt me down. I have never been targeted in any dream world consistently, only once as a child by aliens. I have tried shouting at least one time, but I don't remember what he said. I stopped and shouted something like, "Leave me alone," and he stood there, lowering his weapon for a few seconds, and then he said something that I could not really make out, and when I ran, he started coming after me again. I can't tell if the knight was speaking English or not. He spoke in a weird way, weird change of tones as well. I am sadly not lucid when he shows up, only a few times, but even then it's just a game of run and make sure he does not catch me. There was this one instance, we were on some huge bridges that connected two huge mountains, and under us was a huge gaping abyss filled with demonic creatures. Alongside us, dragons were flying, trying to supposedly prey on me. Those dragons were all fully armored in dark steel plating, with organic parts showing off, as if they were Frankenstein creations. I managed to make it to the end of the bridge and cut a rope. He jumped on a dragon, and with the rope that I cut, he used it on the dragon's neck and flew the fucking dragon. He's like, very agile, fast, quick. He's not immortal, of course. One time, he got blown away by an explosion, but he is super skilled at fighting. It almost seems as if he has been doing this for all eternity. He is also very smart. I remember meeting a wizard who made me invisible, and this knight killed the wizard and threw ashes all over me from a nearby fireplace, revealing my morph with the ashes. I've attempted to fight him before, and it seems that I can, but this dude invades my dreams with godlike weapons, huge swords, guns, giant chains, magic. It feels as if I have to find something, because he gets this boosted start. I can't seem to defend myself. There was an instance that I tried to fight back, and he bended the sword I was going to stab him with in front of me with his bare hands. Like, fucking hell, how would I know that Doomslayer would be chasing my ass in the astral plane? I have not told many, but to those who I did, say that it could be some sort of evil spirit / consciousness that attempted to fuse with the link I made between my physical body and my consciousness when I tried to remote view. Thus it getting stuck in this limbo stage when I'm between here and in the forever deep sleep, trying to fight its way out. Now that I think of it, it's funny, but it really isn't, because this thing has been going on for months, but it's like how red phantoms invade your world in Dark Souls. I really shouldn't joke around with this, because those dreams are really vivid, and I do not want to feel him cutting off my arms. I have thought of killing him, but what scares me the most is that, as I have mentioned, there was that time that multiple of them came. It felt as if I was trespassing on some serious shit, and they were more aggressive and harsh. But I think I should face him head on and talk to him, and God forbids, I will have to finally fight him. Fight him all you want Anon, but you will never win. These dudes have been slaughtering people in their dreams since the dawn of man. It's a game to them. When you are asleep, you are in their world. They know where you are and what you are doing. You can't run, hide, or ever outsmart them. All you can do is barter or be prepared to give up your ability to dream altogether. I dealt with one of them from ages of 8 to 14, before my chronic insomnia was finally taken seriously enough by the doctors. I was on sleeping pills for months before I finally started sleeping with a cross that a preacher gave to me under my pillow every night. After a couple of days, I stopped dreaming altogether, and man, was it worth it. I tried everything to win against them in my dreams, but nothing ever worked, and I had years to try, so good luck to you if that is the path that you go down. The only way I could ever sleep was by talking to him. I can only speak from experience, but no matter how many times I thought I won, he was always back the next night. Though mine looked different than what you described. Pick related is the best I can remember after not dreaming for 7+ years. Nonetheless, I wish you the best of luck, bro. Going through that at such a young age fucked with me for a long time. He's never really managed to kill me. There have been many close scenarios where he courted me, but just at the last second, I would manage to escape from his slashes or some other thing would distract him. However, he's able to give strong blows with his weapons, and axe I remember literally cut through the castle wall like butter, leaving it all red and close to melting. And as I said, those dreams with him tend to be vivid, so I feel the warmth of those things, making it only more scary of being hit. This sounds like a really good frontal lobe activation. You got my interest in on, so I am going to give my 2 cents. You say you felt as if this was something normal. Well, we dream all of our lives, so you end up seeing a ton of shit, which ends up feeling normal, especially when your critical thinking faculties are all off. The point you make about looking at the moon and the sun and feeling as if something was off and making you feel uncomfortable. I just think this is the point where you actually started paying attention, and that is why you felt uncomfortable. About the night smashing open the green-colored door. I can't really say much about this guy, but the weapon could be a metaphor for your mind's eye. Maybe some sort of dread of consequences if you use this remote viewing ability as a weapon. From what I learned from going down the ESP rabbit hole is that you need to activate your frontal lobe, which means needing to bypass the reptilian brain and the mammal brain, which are the selfish survival/social parts of the brain to actually do ESP stuff. So, I hope this makes sense somehow. Not that I had any sort of success with ESP yet. You should face him down like you say that you want to, Anon. But don't forget, everything that you see in your dreams is a reflection/a part of yourself. You should try manifesting a Zippo lighter and set his cloak ablaze to defeat him. I can't. He's wearing a mix of armor plating, leather, chainmail, and some other shit on him. He is literally chugged full of armor, and yet I wonder how he can still run so fucking fast. This dude's armor must weigh twice my weight, but I have never tried doing that. Despite an explosion going off in front of him, he was just thrown back and got straight back up. Even if I were to burn his cloak, he would just drop it. In that case, he might stop pursuing you. The cloak is the key. It's causing him to stay in a bewitched state 24/7, hence the nails and the stitches. Meaning, whoever placed the cloak on him does not wish for it to ever be removed. He might even be a benevolent knight who was corrupted by a dark wizard. The cloak is part of his armor. There have been more knights like him without cloak and cloaks, and as I've said, he seems to conceal his true form, so Christ knows what will happen when that thing drops. But even if I somehow managed to make him drop it, he would just run after me more and more. If you're not able to burn his cloak or grimoire, at the very least, try obscuring the symbols with something. Smudge them up with any kind of substance you can find or conjure up. That might be more than enough to break the spell. Chances are, it's a Wizard of Oz scenario. The knight himself is being piloted by someone else in the castle. Alternatively, you can find the puppeteer and attack them instead. Look, it's not just one castle. It's multiple areas that those kinds of battles can happen. One time, it happened in an empty garden, sometimes in those castles, even in churches. The symbol seems to just exist there. But what I am more concerned is how he whispers to space in some sort of song of frequencies, and this way manages to somehow cast various magic spells, from thunderbolts to fire and all of that stuff. I heard frequencies play a very important role in the universe, and he seems to have some sort of mastery over his song of frequencies. Is this something I can learn? Has anyone done this before? I am not aware of what kind of self-reflection type of demon it could be. I've changed a lot as a man lately, and moved forward from a lot of mistakes and errors. I've faced my demons, but this feels rather weird and out of place. I'm not sure if it's a representation of something that I feel. It feels like an idea seeded into my head. I honestly don't know if I should attempt to fight him or just talk to him. Then battle him. The realm he tries to attack you is your own. He just distorts your perception in order to cause the sense of unfamiliarity. Hence, you unable to draw from within what would give you the edge, the advantage over the entity. Next time the abomination comes, draw from within. That world is yours to shape, and so shape it. A wood can be a sword. A plate can turn to an impenetrable armor. Mold yourself into what the entity fears the most. A man who knows how to banish it. They are easily banishable. They are weak in your soul, so what you do is attack them. They will recoil in fear. They can't be touched by you. It probably hurts them. I know I banished a few of such weird entities just by using my bare hands and attacking them. They never came back. All I am saying, Anon, is that you must fight. It will never go away on its own. The only way you secure peace is by waging war. So, good luck, and think about this. May your next dream bring you victory. Good luck. Anons, I don't know how, but the collective of you telling me to face him off somehow manifested the strength I was hoping to manifest myself. The dream was lucid. I was conscious. Let me describe exactly what happened. I might need some help through deciphering some of the hidden meanings. You guys may be confused as to some of the things he said. After coming back from swimming, sitting down on my bed, I tried to think of all the comments telling me that I have to face him. So I sat down, calmed myself, and drifted away in 45-ish minutes. I was tired as well, so this helped. The dream was just like always. It was vivid. So vivid, I could clearly see and feel the stone textures of the wall. I found myself in a huge corridor resembling that of a dungeon. I played Dark Souls 3 before going for swimming, which may have somehow affected the choice of environment, I guess. The corridor was huge, and it had the classic checkerboard floor. I felt peace at once walking down the corridor without feeling uneasy. At this point, I was not yet conscious, as I was not aware of the night. Walking down the corridor, I suddenly stopped and looked next to me. A man that I would describe as 6 meters tall, with a weird tree stump for a head. It looked cylindrical and had weird shapes on it, but they looked organic. He was dressed from neck to toe in an organic-looking armor. It looked organic, but it was very hard. It had some interesting geometry, especially in the chest. It was all stretched out like a boat's nose and looked heavy. I did not talk to him, but it seemed as if he was escorting me. I don't know. After what seemed like a flash, I appeared in some sort of dining area, which is common in the dreams, and it was at this moment that I realized, wait, the night will come. And that was what switched me on, and I gained consciousness. Before anything could happen, I asked the giant who he is, and he spoke in a language that spoke inside of my brain directly, or it felt like it anyway. He said that he is one of the golems of the castle, and that his goal is to protect the visitors. Out of nowhere, he summoned a huge rod made out of stone, with a huge iron sphere on top filled with eyes. It looked similar to the axe that the knight first used months ago in the first dream I had. He described it as a weapon made out of intelligence whispered into metals, and he said that he is no different from it, that he is the mechanism, yet the mechanism is what manifests intelligence into him, as if intelligence is not something on its own, but an effect created when the circumstances are allowing it to exist, like calling it into existence, manifesting it in the spot. It felt like such a great understanding to me. Being conscious then, this really reflected with me and my brain, making me emotional. But yet again, the knight jumped from a window and fell into a table filled with cubes again. It wasn't just a drop, he fell from what seemed like 120 meters. The glass made a deafening sound, which made me shout. At that moment, I saw him dropping his cloak, which made me think of the light Anon mentioned, and turning around, the giant handed me one, that seemed to be fashioned out of a literal chunk of iron ore with those eyes like I mentioned that the rocks had. The knight stood up, and this time he had 2 golden axes that emitted lightning. I did not know how to react, so he jumped on me. I literally froze, looking at him from above me. It was like looking death in the eyes. It felt like I had my fate sealed. You guys have no idea how menacing he was, but the golem pushed me in what seemed like a forward push towards the table, and I fell down. In what seemed like a mess of actions, I threw the lighter, and his axes blew up the lighter with their lightning. This lit up his cloak in blue flames, and he started running around. The golem seemed stationary, simply looking, or at least I think so. He had no eyes. At this point I could hear him scream, so I jumped on him and removed his cloak. I rolled ahead of him with his cloak in my hands, which I threw away, and it burned away. I was all lying down at this point, and he had gotten up. Under the cloak, he was wearing a heavy-looking set of iron armor, with wrinkles and sharp points everywhere, like thorns. He still had his black cone with the glowing white eyes that now were more vivid than ever before. Looking behind him, the golem was gone. At that moment, I did not want to die, so I literally shouted as loud as I could in my mother language instead of English. All this time, I tried speaking to him in English, but this time, I talked to him in my actual language, and he stopped and looked at me. Being lucid, I thought of asking him why he would want to kill me, and he sat down, cross-legged beside me, with his axes on the floor. At this point, I was losing my shit, cause that Anon who suggested asking him why he chases me down was actually correct, instead of asking him to fight me. Sitting down, he directly told me that he is hunting those who fake the looks of a human. He told me that we humans have an amazing ability to tell what is human from what is a mimic trying to be a human, and that he is hunting the vile creatures who with the looks of a human try to eat us. He said that with this ability, we are able to distinguish what is us and what is them, but people don't know them, for we have not seen them for many generations. I instantly asked him for his name, and he told me he is what is called Rabadon, which in his language means one who seeks the hooks. I don't even know what that is supposed to mean. I asked him why he is chasing me, and he said that King Saravan noticed curious things happening to me, and he thought it could be the vile creatures trying to trick my mind. He said that his king could not come because he does not exist here, and no vessel can bear the weight of his core, but only higher dimensions. After that, I tried asking him more questions, but he simply stood up and left from exactly the green door he came in from, telling me to forgive him, which I did in my heart, but not in words, but he knew already. He told me that as a friend, he is willing to help me, and he left by vanishing in the darkness behind the door. I don't fucking know what kind of fever dream that was, but it seems like he left for good from my dreams after that. I looked behind to find the golem fixing the window, and then I instantly woke up. I think this is the end of the invasion. He told me I'm his friend now, so I guess it's good to have a friend there. What now, Anons? Anything that I should ask if I ever see him again in my dreams? Waking up, I felt a great sense of peace and freedom, as if something that was on to me left. Anyone know the names he gave out? Really interesting stuff, Ope. I think I can help here. As someone who conquered his own indestructible pursuing monster dreams, it sounds to me like some kind of sentinel meant to keep out remote viewers or lucid dreamers. A security program almost. You have to learn how to kill them if you want to continue exploring. And I mean, obliterate them. Really gotta fuck them up to send this message. All it takes is sufficiently strong will. In your dream, when you next encounter the night, become angry, furious, focus the anger into force, crush that night motherfucker with your mind so badly and so violently that its bodies get sprayed with bits of its exploded meat and are stunned by the violence that you are capable of. Don't even think about how to do this, just do it with your raw fury. Compress the space around it and crush it. I did this to my own formerly indestructible sentinels, armor and all, and they have not bothered me since. My dreams have actually evolved since I gained the ability to destroy those sentinel things. I now have recurring dreams of visiting an empty, partly constructed city in a valley in China, seemingly always returning to the same frozen moment in time, always at the same location in the city. Gravity works strangely there, far weaker than usual. It's always sunset, and no matter what, nothing can hurt me, even leaping from sufficient height to attain a near terminal velocity. I have never encountered anything alive there, beyond small weedy plants and distant trees, and saw very few traces of human presence. Construction vehicle tracks on recently laid clean black asphalt, some cigarette butts, and some kind of construction site safety pamphlet is the only things I found. Work in the empty city appears to have come to a halt, and whatever construction crews built it have been sent elsewhere. The city is in the phase of construction where the concrete and rebar work is done, but none of the window glass or interior has been put in. I sometimes wonder if I haven't been firewalled off into some kind of safe space where I can't do any harm when I visit this place in my dreams. I don't have the ability to destroy anything there. Nothing exists there to make me angry or feel threatened, so there was no cause. I tried doing things like using a rock to scratch marks on specific concrete walls that I would visit over and over, only to find them reset to their pre-visit state upon my next visit. I tried bashing walls with a rock to make some of the concrete chip off, only to find the concrete supernaturally strong, totally unlike how you would expect it to be, like it was actually granite or harder. Due to gravity, working at what I would estimate to be 10 to 15% of normal, it's possible to leap very high in the air, or leap from the top floor of one building to another, or even leap from one glassless window to a window in some building some distance away. You can't really alter direction once airborne, but you can travel around in these beautiful leaping parabolic arcs. Impacts that would shatter your legs and every bone in your body in reality are easily handled in the empty city. You feel the impact just less. Hey, hope you've enjoyed the story so far. If you want to hear more, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment because it lets YouTube know you like the content and helps more people to see these videos. My next big goal for the channel is 100,000 subscribers, and as a celebration, I will be doing a Q&A video once we hit that goal. Thank you.